Welcome to English with Abby and Torai. I'm Abby, and today we are going to continue talking about phrasal verbs. We have another video that talks about phrasal verbs in a little bit more of a general way, where we talk about what phrasal verbs are. And so today, in order to continue with helping you sound more fluent, helping you sound more like a native speaker, we will talk about different phrasal verbs used in different contexts. We'll talk about how to use phrasal verbs for work or studying, for traveling, for emotions or relationships, for everyday life. So if you are interested in watching that video first, you can find the link in the description below. And there's another thing in the video we talk a little bit about, and it is phrasal verbs that are separable and are inseparable, meaning you can separate it and put the noun in the middle, or you cannot separate it. And so we'll go through these phrasal verbs and also talk about if they are separable or inseparable. Someone in the comments of our last video asked how we know when a phrasal verb is separable or inseparable, and we don't. There's no way to know. You just have to know if it makes sense and can be separated, or if it doesn't make sense and cannot be separated. So here are phrasal verbs to talk about work or studying, so work or school. The first is catch up on. Catch up on. With phrasal verbs, you'll notice it starts with a verb plus one or two particles, one or two small words, a preposition or an adverb. So here we have catch up on, used in context. I need to catch up on emails. I need to catch up on emails. Here we have our phrasal verb. This means that you're behind. Maybe you were gone for a few days, or you just haven't looked at your email this day yet, and you need to go check your emails. You need to go check the amount of emails you've gotten, respond to some emails, but I need to catch up on emails. The next is go over. Let's go over your report before the meeting. Let's go over your report before the meeting. Go over means you look at something again. Maybe you look at it with another person and you talk about it together. You talk about what is good, what could maybe be corrected, but you go over something together. And I forgot to do the separable or inseparable here. So if you were to separate this, it would say, I need to catch emails up on. But that doesn't make sense. So this one is inseparable, and go over would say, let's go report over before the meeting. This one is also inseparable. It does not make sense. Cannot be separated. The next is hand in. Don't forget to hand in the project. Don't forget to hand in the project. That means give it to your teacher, turn it in, where you need to put it, whoever you need to turn it into, hand in, or even turn in the project. Don't forget to hand in or turn in the project. If we think about if this is separable or inseparable, don't forget to hand the project in. Don't forget to hand the project in. This one is separable. The project could go here. Don't forget to hand the project in. The next one, take on. She decided to take on more work this month. She decided to take on more work this month. This means that she is doing more. She asked for more work, and they're giving her more work, or maybe take on more work. Maybe she's taking more classes this semester or this year. She decided to take on or essentially do more. And if we tried to separate this one, she decided to take more work on this month. This one is separable. This one can be separated. She decided to take more work on this month. And the final one is deal with. I will deal with the request later. I will deal with the request later. This one, I will deal with, that means that they will solve the problem, they will do something about it. Deal with means you go do something about it, you check in on it, and you do something that needs to be done. I'll deal with the request later. And if this one is separable or inseparable, I will deal the request with later. This one does not make sense being separated, so it is inseparable. Okay, let's move on to the next category. Now let's talk about phrasal verbs for travel. These are all have to do with traveling. When you travel, whether it's by plane or car, mostly by plane, but also could be by car or bus or some other way that you travel. So the first is check in. We checked in online before our flight. We checked in online before our flight. So here our phrasal verb is checked in. This means that you check in. You have to tell the airline, I will be on my flight, and then they give you your seat number, or then they know, okay, this person is checked in, they'll be on the flight tomorrow. You usually are able to check in 24 hours before your flight. Checked in is an inseparable phrasal verb. There's no direct object here. We checked in online before our flight. You cannot say we checked online in before our flight. The next is take off. The plane took off 10 minutes late. The plane took off 10 minutes late. Take off or took off is the past tense of take off. This is when the plane leaves the ground and starts going into the air. The plane took off 10 minutes late. This is another inseparable verb. We cannot say the plane took 10 minutes off late. There's just no direct object in this sentence for it to work that way. The next is get on or get off. Get on something or get off something. We got on the bus to downtown. We got on the bus to downtown. This means you physically get on the bus. You step on or into the bus. You could also say we got off the bus at when we arrived downtown, or we got off the bus at downtown. Downtown is a word used in English to mean the city center. Downtown means the center of the city. So we got on the bus to downtown. We use got on, we use the preposition on when talking about a bus or a plane. I got on the plane, I got on the bus, I got on the boat. We use in with the car. I got in the car. So on is mostly used with the bus, planes, or boats, or trains. I got on the train as well. Okay, the next is set off. We set off early to avoid traffic. We set off early to avoid traffic. Set off means you go, you get started, you start your journey. We set off early to avoid traffic. This is also inseparable. There's no direct object in this sentence. We set off early to avoid traffic. We cannot say we set early off to avoid traffic. That doesn't make sense. And the final one is pick up. Can you pick me up from the airport? Can you pick me up from the airport? So pick up means someone comes and gets you. You could also say, can you pick me up from work? Can you pick me up from the store? Can you pick me up from school? Can you pick up the food from the restaurant? Can you pick up groceries from the grocery store? In this example, it's talking about a person, picking up a person directly. And so you'll notice it is definitely separable because there is a pronoun in the middle. When you use a pronoun with phrasal verbs, depending on if it is the direct object of the sentence, it always goes in the middle. in this case, you actually cannot say, can you pick up me from the airport? Saying pick up me is incorrect. It does not make sense. So you have to put the pronoun in the middle. You have to separate the phrasal verb by putting the pronoun in the middle. Can you pick me up from the airport? The final topic we will talk about is relationships and phrasal verbs that have to do with relationships. The first is cheer up. Cheer up. She was sad, but the good news cheered her up. Cheered her up. So here we have cheer up. It's in the past tense. She was sad, but the good news cheered her up. Again, you can see the pronoun in the middle because the pronoun being used here needs to go in the middle of this phrasal verb. We cannot say the good news cheered up her. It needs to go in the middle of the phrasal verb. So cheer up means to make someone happier or make something or someone happier, using something to make someone happier. In this case, it was the good news. Whatever news she received that was good cheered her up. The next is calm down. Take a deep breath and calm down. Calm down. Take a deep breath and calm down. Calm down means to focus and to not be so stressed or not be so anxious or not be so excited, but you calm yourself down. You are able to take a deep breath, like this sentence says, and just relax. The next example, get along, and with here in parentheses because it usually means you get along with another person. You get along with another person. So here, I got along with my coworkers. I got along with my coworkers. It doesn't always need the with. In this context, it does. I got along with my coworkers. This means that you have a good relationship with your coworkers. You're able to do work really well together. It means that you're maybe not friends, but you get along. You are able to talk and have fun even at work. And the next is very similar, fall out with. Fall out with. Again, the with is in parentheses because sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't, depending on the sentence. And in this case, fall out also talks about with another person in a relationship. So they fell out after a big disagreement. They fell out after a big disagreement. So fell out, here we don't really need the with because you're not adding another person. If you said with my coworkers, if you said they fell out with each other, they fell out with their parents, if the person comes after the phrasal verb, then you need the with. If it doesn't, then you don't need the with. So here, they fell out after a big disagreement. This means that they are no longer friends, they are no longer in a relationship, they're no longer speaking to each other, they fell out. It means they no longer have a relationship, whatever that may be. The final one is look up to. Look up to. I've always looked up to my brother. I've always looked up to my brother. This could maybe mean physically looking up at something, but not in this context. Here it means that you view your brother as someone you respect and admire and want to be like, or want to do things the same way he does, or you look up to him and say, oh, I like how you do this. That is a good example for me. So it could also be, I've always looked up to my teacher or my parents or my mom or my dad. But generally when you say looked up to, it usually means someone older than you. That's why it look up to, I guess, because it is someone who's technically older than you. And so the up to part, even though you're not physically looking up at them. So with these 3 topics of phrasal verbs. I hope this has been helpful for you in understanding more phrasal verbs, when to use a separable phrasal verb or an inseparable phrasal verb as well. And check out our other video about phrasal verbs if you wanted some more practice with that. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and we will respond. And please like and subscribe and share this with someone else you know who is learning English as well.